Hello and welcome back to a Wee Chat for episode 2. Sorry for not having an episode out last week. It was, of course, the international break. And as we all know, the international break is an absolute nightmare to try and cover. So we skipped that week and we're back. We've just been defeated by Chelsea. That was last weekend. So we're going to be talking about Chelsea. We're going to be talking about Alex Neil's tactics. Were they right? Having some fan interviews in there, some random questions, and then, of course, looking forward to the Arsenal game next week. Alongside me, I have Seb Ward and Charlie Hatch. Lads, how you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, a bit stiff after the standing in the cold yesterday at Chelsea, and a bit of a journey getting down there, but it's not too bad from Manchester. So, on the whole, not too bad.
I'm getting along.
A bit of a journey. A bit of a journey. You had a 2-hour trip on a Virgin train. We were delayed for an hour and a half, so we got back at like midnight.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
You have it good. Yeah, Charlie, how are you, mate?
I'm alright. I mean, just getting up in the morning to turn it on, and then when it ends, you got to carry on with your day because it's only noon. So
yeah, the pain.
Can't really sulk in it.
Damn the time difference. Anyway, yeah, we lost 1-0. Seb, me and you were both there. It was absolutely freezing. I was so glad I put on my winter jacket instead of my thin coat. I think you made the wrong decision with your jacket.
The thing is that it'd been raining so much during the week that I thought that wasn't the main problem. So when I saw that it wasn't going to rain, I was thinking, okay, there isn't a problem here. But I didn't account for the blistering winds that swept across Stamford Bridge, and that was really what was cold about London yesterday. And as I said to you at half time, I'd put one too few layers on, really, and I was feeling it. It really was cold.
I was gonna say, what is in the football grounds? Because I mean, they're boxed in. Is the wind really that bad? This is as someone that obviously watches on TV. I mean, does it just whip in from the corners?
It seemed to do that a bit on Stamford Bridge. I guess that's coupled with just the nerves of watching us play anyway. But and we were standing for the whole game as well, so it was all a bit nervous, a bit cold. And
I mean, normally you're okay if you go like down the leagues. There's normally like one side missing to a stadium, but I think the problem is it sort of the wind gets in and then swirls about the stadium. That's what normally happens. Anyway, we're not here to talk about the weather. We'll leave that to the Met Office. But Charlie, we lost 1-0. But yes, we lost. But it wasn't too bad, was it?
No, it wasn't too bad. My dad was giving me a hard time. He's like, "How do you lose to Chelsea?" But I mean, midway through the match, as you're sitting there, I think it was right before halftime, hoping that we get in, deadlocked at 0-0. And it's like, here's a team that costs maybe £30 million going against a team that's $250 million. So it puts it in perspective. I mean, if you look at it from the standpoint of a 1-0 defeat, it was a 1-0 defeat, but not against West Brom a couple weeks ago. So bearable.
Yeah, Seb, that's the thing, isn't it? Like, Chelsea were below us going into into Saturday's game, but they have still got a incredible squad, haven't they?
Yeah, it's incomparable. I mean, they can bring on Oscar, who's worth the entirety of our squad off the bench, and that's just the difference between the two clubs, and that's money, and that's how it affects football as a game, and that is one of the big problems. But I think we did give a good account of ourselves. I thought we defended pretty well in the first half. I thought we also, the counter-attacking game plan that we utilised, focusing on the left where we know Ivanovic has been very poor this season. I thought Brady got quite a bit of joy down that side. And we did pose a threat. I mean, Redmond had he carved out a decent chance from the angle, and Bassong had that big chance that we were talking about prior to recording. Could he have done better? I think it was just more of a good block from Terry more than anything, but we did have some chances, and that was positive. Obviously, in the second half, that we went a goal down after that sort of one moment of one lapse of concentration, but you have to say the ball played over the top was absolutely fantastic, pinpointly accurate, and then Diego Costa, as much as I hate him, excellent finish, and that killed the game off, really.
We all hate Diego Costa, but you can't deny that he's a fantastic football player and has a game plan that not many defenders can play against. No. He's sort of similar to Grant Holt, occasionally cheats, but when he gets his chance, he'll well, I say when he gets his chance, he missed 2 absolute sitters yesterday, but the goal he scored was wonderfully taken. But Charlie, I mean, we were certainly on par, if not better than Chelsea in that first half. Both teams had chances, both teams missed their chances, and it was fairly scrappy. Both defences was struggling a bit, but were you a bit disappointed of the lapse of concentration in the second half and not to come away with something yesterday after that first half performance?
Yeah, I think a point would have been nice, especially. I mean, to be honest, Chelsea's going to go on a run at some point. It would have been nice to think that it wouldn't have happened on Saturday. But to see them get 3 points snatched because a ball played in between Wisdom and Bennett on a quick free kick, obviously that's disappointing. I think it was a wonderful finish from Costa, like you guys mentioned. But to go down that way, I don't want to say you feel cheated, but I would have preferred something like Eden Hazard. Once he cut in a couple times, or if you remember Matic, when he kind of cut through something like that, that would have been a little bit more justifiable than guys just caught lapsing, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Matic chance was solely created because Gary Neal's legs had just given up on him. But
yeah, the space did seem to just open up for him completely.
Yeah, but it's true what you say, Charlie. I mean, we defended so well against an on-form Eden Hazard for the whole game. He was causing absolute chaos, but he didn't really create himself a real chance throughout the game. But Seb, I mean, we've seen on 2 occasions this season now Ryan Bennett switch off. One against Manchester City when who was it? Mangala. Was it Mangala scored the header? I think it was Mangala.
I think so.
Otamendi. Yeah.
Otamendi, that's the one. And then yesterday when Costa scored. So, I mean, am I being a bit harsh on saying Ryan Bennett needs to step his game up a bit?
I think you are. I think he's been pretty good since he's come in, on the whole. I think recently we've been linked with Ron Vlaar, formerly of Aston Villa, and I think if we were to bring in a defender now, I also think Ryan Bennett would be unlucky to lose his place. I think he's been playing relatively well, and I think the quick free kick wasn't just him. I think Brady and Basong both sort of had their backs turned, and we weren't switched on quick enough to then deal with it, because as well as Wisdom, the two of them should be able to deal with Costa, but because Costa was looking forward, looking for the free kick, as soon as Fabregas hit it, there was no chance of really them making up for that mistake. And yeah, it cost us, as you said.
Do you think Ryan Bennett, the only reason he's been looking good is because the rest of our defence isn't great?
No, I wouldn't say that at all. I'd say previously we had Whittaker and Martin in, and the combination of those two just didn't work. And since we've got them out, I think the whole defence has looked better. I think we've been getting the best out of Brady recently. I think he's been an absolutely top signing, as he has been for Ireland as well. He's been showing that he can do it both on the international stage and in the Premier League. So, yeah, to be honest, I think he could play for a top 8 club if we didn't get him. So, I think he's looking really class. Basong's been fairly solid. I think it's only now when we're starting to get a consistent player alongside him that we'll see the best of him, because that partnership is crucial. And I think Ryan Bennett, he's still young. I say young, he's a little more inexperienced than other centre-backs that we could go for, but I think he will come good, and I think there are some very composed parts of his game that we need to get the best out of. And in the 2 games it has been moments, one single moment in either game you could pin on him, and unfortunately those moments are costing us. That's how tight the margins are in this league, and unfortunately teams like us get punished for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Premier League, isn't it? It's a ruthless league, and if you haven't got sort of £30 million defenders in there, I suppose you're going to be creating them kind of chances for the opposition. But I mean, Charlie, it was a fairly positive performance. I mean, Alex Neil tactics, what did you make of them? I was really pleased with them, but I spoke to a few Chelsea fans after the game, and they were really surprised to see us set up the way we did, because the teams that have had joy against Chelsea this season, and a lot of teams have had joy against them, are the teams that have gone fairly attacking and thrown players at the Chelsea defence, because it was obvious yesterday when we got a few players going forwards that Chelsea defence isn't what we know of Chelsea in previous years. They are fairly weak at the back.
Yeah, I think when we went more defensive, not as defensive as City a couple weeks ago, but I think if we could, the problem with Norwich is they can't convert the opportunities in front of goal or on set pieces. I mean, recall when Brady was going down the side, winning corners, stuff like that, and nothing comes of it. Basong almost had the one chance, but other than that, I think Brady had a shot in the 75th minute. Do we have anything else really that was considered dangerous?
I think that's a really key point actually, the set piece one, because we did have about, I want to say, 4 corners in that first half, and even if one of them goes in, you're going into that halftime break 1-0 up. So I think that is a big point, Charlie.
Yeah. We sat back against Swansea as well. I don't want to say it's refreshing to be sort of rudimentary kicking long balls, but I think at times it's necessary. I think yesterday that was the case. And if we could finish, and if we knew we could finish, then it would be, why aren't we going further up the field? But Redmond was playing that attacking role in the middle, which he's not usually accustomed to. Obviously losing Teti in the middle. I thought Malumbu and O'Neal did a fantastic job. I just don't think we have the pieces to really attack, because I think Kennedy, the Chelsea left back, is he a forward? I know
he's a left winger.
Yeah, that's not his usual position. So you'd like to think, if Johnny Howson or Wisdom, Redmond, someone can get behind him, cause problems down that side. I do think they did. I think Norwich did the best they could do. They just, again, it comes back to the talent that one team has and the other team cannot afford.
Yeah, it's extraordinarily difficult to break against a team that are so brilliant in the midfield. Really, they've got so many good players in there, which means when we do regain possession, we tackle them as they're attacking. We don't often have an outlet to then play the ball to, because we've had to sacrifice that attacking threat to get everyone behind the ball and actually challenge these brilliant players that actually need 2 players on one person, because that's the damage they can cause. And I think it was always inevitable that after an international break where Chelsea have had 2 weeks to sort of mull over their recent defeats and get things together that they were going to come back fighting. And I think, while I think we were a bit unlucky with that penalty appeal and we did have some chances, I don't think we really deserved anything more than the loss.
No, I don't think we deserved to get anything, but you do look at that game and think possibly, because obviously you've got Mbakani and Malumbu in there who've just come back from a long trip for playing for their international team Congo. You're missing Tete. You've got one of your key players, Matthew Jarvis, out injured. There's a lot of things that not went against us. I mean, that sounded a bit bitter, but that could have possibly gone our way, and that didn't go away, because you look this season. I was looking at yesterday's game where West Brom beat Arsenal, and they had a hell of a lot of luck. They had Santi Cazorla missing a penalty, Ozil wasn't on his game, and they had a couple of lucky goals. And you look back at our season, we haven't really had them slices of luck. I mean, yes, the only bit of luck I can really recall is the goal at Manchester City when Joe Hart chucked it at Jerome's feet, but even then we then got a bit of bad luck down the other end, and when John Ruddy just completely had a brain fart and didn't really know what he was doing on the pitch. So it's slices of luck that go our way. Even all of Chelsea's performances, I mean, yes, there's been a couple of shockers in there, but for example, their last loss came against Stoke. Chelsea played extraordinarily well in that game and were unlucky not to get anything. Jack Butland had an absolute just brilliant game, but it's slices of luck that I think we need, that we haven't quite had this year.
I think it's also worth noting that yesterday was further evidence that there isn't some sort of conspiracy against Chelsea in terms of the referees. I mean, they got the majority of decisions go their way, and I think if that Brady penalty was at the other end, I know they had a slightly contentious one, but if that Brady penalty was at the other end, I think that would have been given. Just purely because Brady is goal side and Willian comes from behind.
Yeah.
I still think it's a penalty, even though I've seen the replays and it's not quite as, I'm not there with the emotion in the moment thinking, penalty referee, what are you doing? I still think there's enough contact there and he's not in the right position, Willian, to win that ball.
The one I sort of thought about was the Vardy penalty at Norwich earlier in the season. It wasn't sort of a clear-cut penalty, but you could see why it was given, and I think yesterday as well.
I think it was more of a penalty than the Vardy one. But it's similar. Basong wasn't goal side of Vardy on that occasion, and that was given. And this one, Brady was actually stood still, and Willian was the player who had the momentum, who was moving in that direction. And Brady can only... He's not going to go down from a standing still position. He gets that contact and he goes down, and I think that's a penalty.
Is the Swansea goal, or when there was, 1-0 final, do you think Swansea could have had a penalty at the end? I mean, if you compared those two, would you say that Brady the other day was more realistic to draw a penalty than the one against the Swans?
I think the one against Swansea, the only reason it wasn't given is because Clattenburg's an absolute fool. And
yeah, I can't comment on this one because my stream got out in the dying moments. I had to check on Twitter.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think if we would have got something from this, we wouldn't be talking about the Brady thing. So we're sort of clutching at straws a bit. But yeah, I mean, we're going to have bits of luck, and I think by the end of the season, they'll all sort of equal out. But I can see Norwich fans' frustration, and certainly my frustration when the bigger teams seem to get the decisions. But anyway, let's go positive. I thought John Ruddy was excellent yesterday, Seb.
Yeah, he definitely had one of his better games, and we needed that because they did have some big chances. He made a great save. I think, most of those saves came with his legs, actually. The notable one being that Diego Costa chance that he had sort of the right of goal. And he hit it across goal, and John Ruddy made a really important save with his right foot, and that sort of kept us in it in the first half. I think if we had conceded a goal in that first half, I think that was towards the end of the first half, just after that Basson chance that we were talking about. If we had conceded then, I think we could have been in for 3-4-0, and really he kept us in the game at that moment. So, we give him criticism for when he's been making mistakes. We've also got to give him praise for when he's playing well, and he certainly did that yesterday.
Definitely. I think that's what we've missed this season is John Ruddy having good performances, because under Paul Lambert in the Premier League, when we were sort of finished, 12th, 13th, we stayed in a lot of games because of John Ruddy, and he's never been this exceptional camera save kind of keeper, but he's always made himself big and made them crucial saves, and we haven't really seen that this season, so that was really pleasing. Anyway, the next point I'm going to make, I'm going to let Claire, one of the fans, the lovely Claire, she came for a fan cam yesterday, and she was talking about Nathan Redmond and how he was quite quiet yesterday.
After a 1-0 defeat, what did you think of that?
Quite frustrated. I think defensively we were outstanding, apart from the goal obviously, but attacking wise we just weren't there, were we? We didn't do enough. We lost the ball cheaply. If you're going to be defensive, you've got to make the most of the attacking when you get it, and we just didn't.
Do you think we were scared to commit too many men at times?
Yeah, but even when we were going forward, we just didn't pass to the right person, or we passed it out, or we just didn't do enough with it, and it was, I don't know, I wasn't too happy with that at all.
I mean, first half though, we did create a few chances. Redmond, Basong had the cracking chance, and it was only a brilliant challenge that stopped him. I mean, it could have been 1-0.
You've got to take them though, haven't you? When you get those chances, you need to put them away. If you're going to play that style, you need to put your chances away, and we didn't.
So are you coming out today feeling a bit pessimistic then?
No, I mean, I clapped them off at the end. They played really well, the way we went out to play, but just frustrated. I think not disappointed particularly, but just I wish we could have done a little bit more going forward. I mean, John Ruddy was outstanding, definitely, and I think Wisdom was pretty good as well. I was sitting right near the front, so I saw him, quite clearly, and I was quite impressed with him today as well. But the whole defence was brilliant. They really were good. I don't think Nathan Redmond had a very good game, and he was probably the worst culprit at losing the ball when we could have done a lot better. But I don't know, kind of mixed feelings today, really. Not too downhearted, but just annoyed a little bit.
Who's your man of the match out there today?
I'd say John Ruddy, to be honest. I think he was really good.
It's good to see him coming back into a bit of form, isn't it? Because he has been really poor in recent weeks.
Yeah, and I did say a few weeks ago, it may be time to drop him and let Rudd have a chance. But to be fair to him, Swansea didn't have much to do, but today he did, and he did make some really good saves today. So
So that was Claire. That was a good fan cam. She talked about John Ruddy being fairly decent, as we just alluded to, and also Nathan Redmond being fairly quiet in the game. Charlie, do you think our game plan was sort of thrown out of the window because of Nathan Redmond's inability to get into the game yesterday?
I don't know if it was drawn up around Redmond. I think if you wanted to look at specific players, maybe Gary O'Neill. Because Gary O'Neill, I mean, he was kind of like the rock in the central position. I think Redmond and Mbakani did as much as they could. actually, Mbakani did a decent job of holding the ball up when it got to him. Yeah, obviously it didn't that often, but no, I do like the idea of having Redmond more central on the field, but I don't think you're going to break down Chelsea on the counterattacks with him out wide. I think one of his issues, though, to be honest, is just when we were packed in so compact towards the end, kind of left him out, walking around on the field, just like Jerome did against City. He never really, you know what I mean? He never got the ball just because he couldn't get forward. And Redmond's not one of those players that, tracks back like someone like Bradley Johnson might have when he was on the squad. So that's just not really his characteristic. I don't think... it's hard to say that this isn't his kind of match, because I think it is, but it was an odd time to put him as an attacking mid player in his first match ever against a team that you're not going to see him get the ball much of at all.
I disagree with that. I think he was playing more outside to the right. I think the problem was that he was having to do so much defensive work that he was then chasing balls constantly, using up all his energy in that sense, and then on the counter-attacks, he wasn't always on that right side and stretching teams, which I feel that's what we needed to do. We needed to have Brady and Redmond offering that width for when we get forward. But it's just so difficult when you've got the quality of opposition that Chelsea have. And it's so difficult to get out from being in such a defensive structure. And as you say, Charlie, Redmond's game isn't accustomed to defensive work, and yesterday we had to do a lot of that. So he does not have the influence that you want him to have.
Well, I think it's a dilemma too for Alex Neil, because let's say he comes in off the bench and you put someone else in there instead. I mean, to be honest, did any of us really think it would be 0-0 at the hour mark? Or we ended up making a triple substitution, but by the time that, say we're down 2-0 because Redmond's not on the pitch yet, it's kind of a waste bringing him on, almost. I mean, I think you could argue, obviously, that's not true, but do you think that's kind of why it's like we have to keep him on now?
Yeah, I'm not saying that we shouldn't have him on. I'm just saying that his influence is sort of inevitably going to be restricted because of how much defensive work he has to do because of how good Chelsea are.
Defensively, yesterday we got it completely right. I think Gary O'Neill needed to be in there. He played really well. Malumbu had to be in there. He'd done really well. And the back four coped fairly well against what is an incredible attacking line. But I think Redmond could have done more yesterday. And, a lot of us Norwich fans have been calling for a Nathan Redmond England call-up. And if you want to be an international player, if you want to play for England, I think you need to be able to change games on your own. You see, like, Leicester are now top of the league, and Jamie Vardy, Leicester haven't been that great this season, but what Jamie Vardy has done is got them out of positions when they haven't been playing so well and changing games on his own. Nathan Redmond is in that calibre of players. He's a top-class player, but I just want to see, I don't want to pressure him too much because I think he's been exceptional this year. I'm not getting carried away with how good he is, but, the performance I want to be seeing from Nathan Redmond is the one I saw from him at Manchester City. When he came on, he completely changed the dynamic of the game. He gave a more attacking flair to us. He didn't give us that yesterday. The only real time I saw that from him was leading up. I think it was just before the Brady chance when he made a couple of step overs on the edge of the box and passed it. I can't remember what that then led to, but I can remember him running very centrally, having a few step overs and passing it wide. The other one was when Mbakani slipped him through and he sort of had a half chance from the angle. But for me, if your game plan is to play sort of Mbakani as the target man and for him to hold it up and then use Redmond as sort of your small, tricky, intricate player, I just want to be seeing a bit more from him because that was the way we set up to play, and I think he kind of let Alex Neil down yesterday. I'm not too sure what you guys think about that.
You could say that, yeah, definitely. I think at the end of the day, it was an unfortunate time for Alex Tete to get the knock, Matt Jarvis to be injured, and I think that's kind of why he was thrown into that position. I don't think you just write him off completely. Nor has anybody here said that. No, yeah. I think it was a it was an unfortunate time to try something new, I think, for Nathan Redmond.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Anyway, that's the Chelsea game done. I'm going to end this segment on one of the most educational, intellectual fan cams I've ever done. This is from, I think what was his name? I can't remember his name. He was a Rangers fan, and he wanted to talk about Chelsea. So yeah, let's do it.
Jack Grieve, TalkNorwichCity here with Div, a Chelsea fan. What do you think of the game, mate?
Oh, mate, so Glasgow Rangers down for the day. Glasgow Rangers got a big Chelsea connection. Might have heard of it.
Glasgow Rangers, yeah?
Glasgow Rangers live in Surrey. Norwich done not too bad today. Might have got a one out of it.
Yeah. So, what do you think of Norwich?
What do you think of Norwich? What do Ipswich think of Norwich?
So that was the very aptly named Div with, one of the more interesting fan cams of the season. Div, if you're watching, I hope you've recovered from that hangover, mate. If you're watching, no, you wouldn't be watching a podcast, you would be listening to a podcast. Unless it's on YouTube, and then I suppose you could class it as watching. Anyway, that's off the point. We're going to be doing our quick-fire player ratings. Who wants to start?
I'll start.
Go for it.
Okay. Ruddy, 8. Wisdom, 7. Bennett, 7. Basong, 7. Olsen, 7. Howson, 7. O'Neill, 6. Mulumbu, 6. Brady, 7. Redmond, 6. And Mbakani, 7.
Nice.
So, fairly average across the... I think there might be an average of 7s, I'm not sure.
It was very nice, Seb. It could have been quicker. That's my only improvement that you could make.
Okay, well, Charlie, beat me to it. Go on.
All right, so we timing this?
I'll count in my head.
All right. Ruddy, 8. Wisdom, 7. Bennett, 6. Basong, 7. Olsen, 7. Howson, 7. O'Neill, 7. Mulumbu, 8. Brady, 7. Redmond, 6. And Mbakani, 6.
Very average again. This is the Gary O'Neill of player ratings. Just average, screams solid to you. Very nice indeed. Okay, I guess it's my turn. Ruddy, 8. Wisdom, 6. Bennett, 7.5. Basong, 7. Olsen, 6. Redmond, 5. O'Neill, 8. Mulumbu, 7. Brady, 6. Howson, 5. Mbakani, 7. Jerome, non-applicable. Houlihan, 6. Dorrans, 5. There you go.
It's interesting that Jerome's not applicable, even though they all three of them came on at the same time.
I don't think Jerome done anything. I can't actually remember him touching the ball. Hence, for him not getting it. I'm sorry, Cameron. I'm sure you really wanted a quick-fire player rating.
I think I was a bit harsh on Mulumbu saying 6. I think he was probably 7. I said O'Neill 6, purely because he probably should have been sent off. Again, running the risk like he was the other week.
Yeah.
I think, was it him or Mulumbu who, on the counter-attack, I think it was Willian who had it on the right-hand side and Hazard was bursting through the middle. And he just put both arms around him. Or was it Basong? Yeah, no, it was Basong, you're right.
Yeah, it was Basong.
And he just put both arms around him, stopped him moving, picked up the yellow card, but when you've got to do it, you've got to do it.
That wasn't as good as Gary O'Neill's challenge on the Swansea guy the other week when he just kicked him. That was fantastic. Anyway, that's the player ratings. Let us know by tweeting us at any of our Twitter handles. It's either at Seb Ward, at Seb Ward, at Charlie Hatch. Is there an underscore in there? I'm sure there's an underscore in there somewhere.
I think there is, yes.
Ward,
yes.
Okay.
At Charlie Hatch _
So just basically type our names in and put an underscore in and just hope for the best. But you can tweet
or
us.
just tweet Jack.
Yeah, or tweet me. Or leave it in the YouTube comments, of course, if you're watching / listening / inhaling this on YouTube.
Just like Div.
Just like Div. Good old Div. Anyway, let's move on to the random question of the week. Last week it was who would you like to take out on a lunch. This week it is Charlie. What is our random question of the week?
Right, the random question of the week is which Norwich player would you least like to be, or is it least or best? What are we doing?
Yeah, least like to.
Bet we'll go least like to be on a roller coaster with. So which Norwich player least like to be on a roller
Indeed.
coaster with?
So I tweeted it out earlier. We've got some replies. Some of them are fairly similar, but we have got some absolute crackers. Moo at Yellow, with lots of E's and lots of L's and lots of W's in, says Lewis Graben. He'd want to get off halfway through. I thought that was quite witty. That was quite nice.
That's good.
A lot of people saying Mbakani because of that absolutely hilarious YouTube video of him getting his head stuck. So that's a good one. Another funny one is Wes Houlihan, simply because he might not be tall enough to get on in the first place with. So that's quite good. Yeah, that's quite funny. But what other ones have we got? We've got Basong. This is from Anita Brian Phillips, the lovely Anita. She said, Basong, I'd have no room and be squashed round the corners. Now, I'm not sure what large body part she's referring to there. But I think, I don't know. I'm putting words into people's mouths here. I'm not too sure. But my favourite one, oh no, we've got two more. Let's go for Gary at GazaTCC. Nathan Redmond, as you wouldn't know if he's praying because he's scared or because he wanted his next shot to be on target. Oh, harsh. Harsh from Gary. But my favourite is from Harry Green at NCFC. He said, definitely Gary O'Neill because he tried to slow it down to a steady, manageable pace. I think that's quite funny.
Yeah, I like that.
That's
Lads,
good.
who would you least like to be on a roller coaster next to?
Well, if we're going with ex-player, I think Jos Højveld would be good. But oh god, I think we're gonna go with the dark horse here. Vadis Odisha Afoe could be all right, but I think he might be one of those that screams and is pushing you, like trying to tell you to where the point the camera is and all that stuff.
Okay.
I think Redmond would scream too.
I think for me it'd be Russell Martin because he's so professional. He just wouldn't enjoy it. He'd be like, yeah, just cool, just composed. You don't want.
I think Redmond would be so focused on getting a photo when the camera comes up for like Instagram or something. He wouldn't actually be there for the roller coaster.
And then putting some kind of rap lyric in the
inspirational quote or something.
Yeah.
Survival of the fittest.
Get to the highest point, or
maybe that's next week's question is, what is your favourite inspirational Redmond Instagram post? I think that's a good one.
Yep.
Anyway,
giving you a week to get your suggestions.
We'll probably forget about that come next week. But let's move on. We haven't actually got a tweet of the week, but I've just thought about this. We have got Coat of the Week.
Oh, God.
This is a new segment we're introducing onto the podcast because we're not just a Norwich City podcast, we are also a fashion podcast. I'm now looking through, and I don't think Chris actually tweeted it.
Oh.
So Coat of the Week could have just ended.
Wait, if you're watching this on YouTube, we should have put the picture in the video. So
well, no, I don't know if we can now because Chris was our only option of getting that photo. So yeah, Coat of the Week scrap.
You've let us down again.
But trust me, it was a really nice coat. It was a ski jacket, and it sort of had like triangular yellow and green segments on it. It was really nice. He had a nice woolly hat as well. So that's Coat of the Week ruined. Any idea?
That was a worthwhile point in the podcast.
Anyway, we are really rambling here. Up next is Arsenal. Let's keep this brief. Guys, what are you thinking? Seb, let's go with you.
Potentially more of the same. I think it's going to be another difficult game. And I think we will have to play a sort of counter-attacking style of football. Of course, we're at home, so hopefully we can give it a bit more going forward. We can commit more players upfield and, cause problems. We beat them, of course, with that Grant Holt goal after Tetty's long-range effort was too hot to handle for Fabianski, I think it was. We've shown we can beat some of the big sides at Carrow Road, and we need to regain that sort of Fortress Carrow Road status.
Definitely.
And, Saturday could be the time to regain that, so fingers crossed.
Yeah, definitely. Charlie, what are you thinking, mate?
I think we score. I don't know if that means it's a consolation goal or not. More defensive football. I think Alex Tete back. That'll do some good. I think more Gary O'Neill.
Oh, that makes me happy. More Gary O'Neill in my life.
I hope Jarvis is back. I think we could do with his versatility.
No, Jarvis. Yeah, if we get Jarvis back, that'd be good. I think we might have a red card on our hands.
Ooh.
Actually. Yeah.
Charlie, get your bets on now, people.
Well, I mean, the way that we're tackling these guys recently, it wouldn't be too surprising.
What I'd love is we've already killed the game off. We're 3-0 up. It's the 90th minute, and Gary O'Neill just goes through the back of someone, 2 foot in the back of the knees, straight sending off, and he just kisses the badge as he walks off, applauding the fans.
Wait, this is the last difficult opponent for a while, isn't it?
No.
No.
We've got
Who's
Everton
after them
and
then?
United coming up.
Oh, that's right.
And Spurs.
Well, Spurs is Boxing Day. So.
I actually think, it's funny you say that, I actually think this is probably one of our easier games because Arsenal, one of their main men, Coquelin, has been ruled out for 3 months today. So that kind of, I mean, obviously they've got a fantastic attack, much like Chelsea. They've got like Sanchez, Walcott, Ozil, Giroud, but their defence isn't great. If they're playing Per Mertesacker there, you would have thought Mbakani or maybe even Jerome has got the pace there. There's going to be a gaping hole in front of the defence without Coquelin. So I'm thinking we might be okay. I mean, this leads nicely on to score predictions. Seb, let's go with you first. Score prediction. If you get this right, you can have 15 virtual the WeChat cookies.
Oh.
Ooh.
I know, big prizes.
Okay, 2-2 draw.
Nice. That was my prediction for Chelsea. So, Charlie, what about you?
2-1. We lose at the death.
Oh, come on.
I'm pessimistic, but then that's as worse as it can. Let's be honest. Can it get worse than that?
No.
We're going to win it. You know what? I actually genuinely think we will win this. Sometimes I say we'll win just to falsely sort of lure me into it.
He said it all now. Don't listen to
It's
another
all
word
coming
he
out.
says.
TalkNorwichCity's a fraud. No, I think we will genuinely win this. I think we've had a lot of luck go against us. Arsenal's fortunes seem to be going against them. Coquelin's just been out injured. They lost against West Brom. They don't look the team they were at the start of the season. I think Basong will be removing Giroud's from his back pocket at the end of the game. I think Gary O'Neill's just going to be running around screaming solid. I think Mbakani's going to have the game of his life. I think Wisdom's going to be like Dani Alves down the right wing. It's going to be absolutely sensational. We're going to be wondering why we ever question Nathan Redmond's performance levels next week on this podcast. And we're going to be debating a 2-1 win. Yeah, that's me looking into the future. That is my score prediction, a 2-1 win. Yeah, I'm feeling confident. Anyway, that is the end of this week's podcast. If you're listening on iTunes, hello. Hit subscribe on iTunes so it automatically downloads into your podcast library. If you're watching on YouTube, hello. Hit subscribe so you never miss out on YouTube.